Hey, what's going on, traders? Gonna be a decently long video. The trades were a little bit longer today. First trade was on GTX here. Right out of a halt, was looking up through eight, and as you're gonna see, we don't quite get up through eight. And man, I swear, when I go back and watch this, I was looking at the spread. I see 790 on the bid, and right as I'm about to hit this thing, I swear I see 790, but I guess it jumps down. Oh yeah, it did jump down to 780. I was looking up here at the screen, and I probably glanced over, saw 790, and then glanced back after I got in and was like, "Oh crap, 780." But end up putting the order out closer down to the half dollar. I think I drag it down. Yeah. So drag it down to 57 as it's starting to come down, and we eventually get our fill. Ends up being a decent little first trade there. WYNN was our second trade. I pulled this one up, and I wasn't a huge fan of the speed on this one. Had I got it on that first little pop, I'm probably okay with it. But it does try to grind up a little bit higher here. And as it gets back up to the highs, we decide to start it once we see it kind of reject the highs there and not go through. So get filled at 32. It does. I'm just looking for that 69 retest. It does try to go a little bit higher. We never get an ad. Was looking for up closer to 70 for the ad here. And it eventually comes down. I believe we start a second trade here while this is happening. We do. So CANO ends up popping up here. And during CANO, this actually ends up being a pretty good trade. So we pulled it up, did the DC load button for if it got up towards 390, starts to go up towards 390, just watching it. As you can see, this is what I always look for. Ask, just waiting for some sort of selling. Ask, still going up. Ask. First, there it is. So the first sign that we had any kind of selling where it wasn't just hitting, the ask getting hit over and over again, that's when we started it. Didn't really jiggle for us. I mean, it's kind of jiggling at the moment, but was really looking for this to be a quick little pop back down. Took 300 shares at 390, was looking for the quick 30 bucks at 380. And this one was kind of frustrating because as you're going to see, it comes down to 82. I think it even hit 81 a couple times as well. Yep, 81. And it just wouldn't give us that fill. So I end up taking half off at 83. And I actually end up making less on it overall, scaling out even a little bit lower because it does eventually come back down. When we ended up taking most of our position off, yeah. So we took some off on WYNN, and then we were looking for the bigger move down. And you're going to see these finally start to come down. WYNN, it finally comes down, take the rest of it off there. Finally does get through 80. We end up taking, I believe that was at 80. We were trying to get it all at 76, but it wouldn't give it to us. So I think we ended up taking 50% again. Yeah, so it actually gave us 798, so a little bit under 80. And then I end up getting the rest right there at 375. I think I ended up pulling it. Yeah, we got 755 because I dragged it up because it wasn't filling us. And I ended up taking the rest there. So, but if you look, I only made 2906, where if we would have just got the original fill there at 380. So yeah, this chart might look better, but we actually ended up making less because we couldn't get that fill on the bulk of the shares there. So a little bit frustrating, but it is what it is. And here's our last trade on BA. This one was a little bit frustrating. End up finally getting a nice little move. It was kind of like grindy. I can't scroll in here, but you can see like all the the grindiness. The candles weren't really extended and fast like this one was. So I was really looking for a nice move. We finally get it. Goes back up towards the highs. Nice little jiggle here around that 149.30 area, and that's where we started. So got filled at 07, looking for the quick retest of the half dollar for most of it, and then just going to scale out. But it decides to give us a little bit more of a push up towards 150. This 150.36 line I drew right off the daily. It was a pretty key area there. So I was expecting to play into that if I had to. And you're going to see that as we continue. I started putting shares out, but I see it go right up into that area. And I'm going to change it back and just add another 25 here pretty shortly. I think I end up just canceling these orders. Yeah. So let's see. Pretty sure I changed this back to 25. There we go. 50. Yeah. And then 25. And I'm just going to add it. So basically make it like a 1-2 as it ran right into that line. Unfortunately, I got a pretty bad fill on that. We ended up getting filled at 149. Didn't get it. 149.82. And I was trying to get filled up over 150. So a little frustrating there. Didn't really bring up our average much. But as you can see, we end up putting most of the shares out and we get filled pretty much instantly. Cancel the old order. go for 50, get back down to the original starter, put it out 31, get filled pretty instantly. Um, After that, it decides to go higher again. Just going to scroll through this. Ends up being a pretty long trade. Goes up through that key area up towards 151, add 25 back, brings our average to 150.29. And basically it just sits here. We're in this for quite a while. I'm just going to fast forward. So it finally does come down, gives us a test. We end up taking, I think, 40 of the shares off here. I was really just kind of looking to get out of it at this point. I really wasn't liking it. I didn't like where my average was either. It just felt like something that could possibly kind of go higher. But we do end up getting the fill there down to just 10 shares. And I was really looking for the big fade down towards like 147, which you're going to see. We do get the move a little bit lower here, down through 150. I end up taking half off again, so we only got 5 shares. Using high day as our stop for now until it kind of forms this like descending triangle, and pretty much just keep my stop here. And as we finally do this, I put a range order in. And basically, you can see 1, 2, 3 tests of the 75 area. So I decided originally I was just going to use that, but then I was like, you know what? I'll give it a little bit of slippage if it wants to go up through 151. But then I changed my mind, figuring if it does break this area now, the odds are it's going to go up through 151. So as you're going to see, it does come up and get us there at the end, which I can just show you on the chart. And yeah, that was it. As you can see, after that, it decided to die. So ended up top ticking that. It did go through 151 anyway. So would have got us had we used that as our stop. The only way we get away with that is if we use high of day, but I wasn't willing to give back because remember we were above our average even with this stop. So I didn't want to give too much of it back. I just wanted to keep the trade green. And unfortunately, it ended up being one of those ones where we would have ended up getting the fill. So can't complain. $82 on the day. It is 74 after commissions. Not going to complain. Was a pretty slow day. Didn't really ever risk anything crazy. I think BA was the most we were down on a trade, and it was like $60. So can't really complain overall. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Always appreciate the support. If you do have any questions or comments, feel free to leave those down below. You can find me in Discord or over on Twitter. Those links are down below, or you can catch me live. I am live every day the market is open here on YouTube. So you can check me out 9:20 Eastern, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.